Hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 11 of Tsurune Season 2, and oh my gosh! Last episode was like Kiyoani was trying to take my heart and just rip it out and just shred it into a lot of pieces because I felt bad because I realized as I was editing episode 10, I was like, I've used Nikaido as the thumbnail the last 3 episodes. And he was on the thumbnail for a previous episode even before that. So this has been Nikaido's season. Clearly, Nikaido has been the major focus of this season, and it's all been about him dealing with his uncle, dealing with the stress of whatever's going on with his uncle versus what he wants to do in the future, and not having things set in place, and needing a figure like Masa to help him get through life right now. And then he has Fua helping him. Minato's there helping the best that he can. It's really been Nikaido's season, and I have loved season 2 of Tsurune, and I am so sad we're down to 3 episodes. I was talking in the Discord that they just announced, of course, that coming up, they were like, in a theater near you, they have the linking shot, the linking connection Tsurune movie, which I've been told that the original movie that came out is like a recap of season 1, but it's with the animation of season 2, which is gorgeous, and then has extra scenes. So I'm kind of like, well, I kind of want to see that, because seeing like season 1 with the season 2 gloss over it would be really cool. And I was like, oh cool, coming to some theaters near you. And I'm like a 20-minute drive from my local theater, so it's not close, but it's not far. But they usually never show any like special event movies. You usually have to drive like an hour away to see them. And I was like, well, if it's only an hour away, it won't be that bad. So we'll just see. The nearest theater is 3 hours away showing it. And the nearest one in my state is 6 hours away. And I was like, well, never mind. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go see the Tsurune movie because I'm not driving 3 hours to go watch a movie that's half the length of my drive one way. So no, I'm not going to be seeing the movie, unfortunately. But it gives me hope that if they're showing it in theaters now, it means maybe by this summer it'll be streaming. Maybe. That'd be great. If it was streaming this summer, I would love to see it, right? But yeah, so I am hopeful that there will be other Tsurune content even after season 2 ends, and maybe they'll do an OVA like they did with season 1. That would be great too. But man, it's Nationals time. So we have Nationals. We have our 3 teams going there, Tsujimine, Kazemai, as well as Kirisaki. We have everybody set in place. Everybody's been working hard. Our boys are trying to get that Ikiai all geared up so that they can do the best they can and be in sync. Kirisaki's getting their ways set. The twins are back in action, and Nikaido is taking his team. So I really have loved Fua in this season, so I'm hoping that there's still going to be time for Fua and Nikaido to talk, and I still want Nikaido to find out that Saionji, she didn't turn his uncle away. She just didn't want to ruin the beautiful form that he had. I want him by the end of the season to figure it out. And I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this episode or next episode. It's just a matter of time. But so I'm really excited to get to this point. I'm excited what it's going to bring, and I cannot wait, y'all. So I just can't believe we have 3 episodes left. Ugh. So before we start, I want to give a special shout out to our philanthropy tier over on Patreon. On Patreon, we have access to the Discord and polls for $1. You can get those same features as well as everything a week early for $5. And then $10 is just you all being amazing and awesome human beings and philanthropists and helping this girl to talk about these series. But you also get mentioned in these videos. And if we have a tiebreaker poll, you all get to decide the winners. So special thanks to these patrons over in the philanthropy tier, where we have Dana, we have Edgar, we have Truck, we have Kenny, we have Tyrone, Larry Manning, Anime Annie, Shimoyama, Arjo, as well as Be Happy and Translucent Men. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. I greatly appreciate it. But oh my gosh, let's do this, shall we? We are going to start Tsurune, episode 11 of season 2, y'all, and just see what we get. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Whew, that episode went by really fast. Like after we've had 3 episodes that have just been like chocked full of emotion and symbolism and character development, and this one felt like it just was so quick. The matches went so fast. Tsujimine's already out. Like it didn't hit me until Seiya was starting to falter that they were facing Tsujimine, and I was like, oh crud, they're facing Tsujimine. Oh crud, they're facing Tsujimine. And then I was like, they're gonna lose to Tsujimine. And then I was like, so this is Kazemai's over. It's done. It's gonna be Tsujimine. I had resigned myself halfway through the episode thinking that Kazemai was gonna lose and it was gonna be Tsujimine versus Kirisaki. I was like, okay, well then we're just gonna move forward and we're gonna do that, whatever. And then one arrow separated them from tying. What the heck? Because it seemed like Tsujimine was doing really good, but I'll have to go back and look at the chart and the board and see what all happened. But so it's gonna be Kirisaki. So basically, like we talked about on the discussions, it's gonna be Kirisaki versus Kazemai next episode, which is episode 12, and then episode 13 is gonna be the aftermath and the festival. Okay, so I have new theories. So my theory now is that I still want Nikaido to find out so badly that his uncle wasn't turned away from Saionji, that she didn't want to teach him because she didn't want to ruin the style. That's what I want. At this point, I feel like, I mean, Tsujimine's pretty much resigned themselves. They took the loss rather well. They were like, well, we tried our best. And Aragaki and Higuchi, who are the third years, they're like, well, it'll be all right. They're like, you guys will carry on for us next year and just you'll have to do your best. And Odaguro's down. Fuwa is so down. And Fuwa will probably drag Nikaido to the field to practice against his will. He'll tie him up and make him go their Aomine style and do that. But I feel like in order for Nikaido to fully commit to being a team player next year, he is going to have to settle this thing with his uncle and Saionji. It's going to have to happen. And my theory is that it's either going to happen one or two ways at this point. Either he's going to go visit his uncle and his uncle is going to be watching the match and he's going to sit there and watch the match with his uncle and his uncle's going to tell him, be like, hey, you need to go talk to this team or talk to Masa-san and ask if he can help, you guys find a coach or whatever. Either it's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. Either next episode, Nikaido's going to go visit his uncle and they're going to watch the match in the hospital together. And that's going to be their bonding thing. And then in episode 13, Nikaido is going to go visit the festival that they're all doing archery at. And Saionji is going to be there because she's going to want to see Masa and Minato doing their skills. So she's going to be there the same time that Nikaido is. Nikaido's going to confront her and she's going to tell him about not turning the uncle down, but not wanting to reject the shaman style. So it's either going to happen that way. That's theory number 1. Or theory 2 is that Nikaido does like a Midorima for Krogo's basketball and like sneaks in to watch the national tournament. Like he doesn't want his teammates to know, but he wants to see how it ends. He's going to sneak into the tournament next episode to watch the finale, to watch the finals. And then that's when he's going to meet Saionji because she's going to go there too to watch as well. And that's when she's going to tell him. So my hope and goal is that by the end of this season, he talks to Saionji and she clears the air about his uncle, about shaman style, and that will spark Nikaido to be like, okay, I do want to move forward. I do want to work with Tsujimine, and I want us to become a better team so we can come back next year and fight Minato and fight Shu's teams. That's my hope. That is my goal because Fuwa and Odaguro seem totally down for it. It'd be cool to get some new Tsujimine blood in there. And Odaguro, Aragaki, and Higuchi will be gone, as well as Sase and Modokuro. So Kirisaki's got a big team, so they're fine. But those 2 third years will be gone. And Kazemai has all their team members, so they're going to be the same, right? But maybe they'll get some new team members. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, this was such a good episode, but it was so quick. It went by so fast. There were little fake outs. There's stuff being set up for next week, which we need to talk about. But I was like, oh man, it was a lot in this episode. What I really loved about it was I did love that we went through each person's home and got to see them get ready. The only thing is I wish we would have seen Tsujimine get ready. I wish we could have seen that because that was the only team we didn't get to see and we know virtually nothing about that stuff with Tsujimine. I wish we could have seen that, but if they do a season 3 of Tsurune, please, Kiwani, do a season 3 of Tsurune. It'd be cool to see Tsujimine and see like what Fuwa's house is like, what Odaguro is like, what Nikaido's home life is like. I mean, we got a pretty good idea, but I want to see rooms, damn it. I'm all about Kiwani showing us what the rooms look like. I need to see it. It's defining their personalities, right? And then I really love that we cut in between Kirisaki and them, right? So we have like Seiya and Minato getting ready to go. We get the little thing with the thumb. I am so glad that has not turned out to be like a horrible thing. Like, even though the blood's like seeping through his bandage there, I'm glad that it's not become something that was like, I'm glad they got it out of the way this episode, because I mean, maybe it'll come back next episode and be a problem, but I'm really glad they touched on it this episode. I was like, okay, good, let's get this out of the way now. Let's get this out of the way now and talk about it so we don't have to worry about it later. But then we cut to Kirisaki, and I love that everybody's outside waiting except for the twins. I love the one redhead. He's like, come on! He's become the team mom, right? Which is great because Modokuro and Sase are graduating. Somebody needs to be the team mom and be responsible for these twin hooligans. I love the twin comes out and he's like, yeah, what? Can I help you? And he's like, it's tournament day. And he's like, oh my God. So there's somebody that like, there was lots of little extra text going on. So I wanted to read this. So Sase says he forgot to sign up for the practice test. And somebody in the background saying, somebody like, geez, Sin, let me, oh, it's the twins. Okay. He's like, I forgot to sign up for the practice test. He's like, the deadline's not until next weekend. He's like, thank goodness. Okay. And so, yeah, they're taking it. He's like, I want to keep my options open outside the academy. That's all. Okay. So, yeah, I think that this is fine. They don't have to worry about these tests until after finals are over. But it's just like a little thing of Sase and Modokuro, like, planning for these exams to, like, get into colleges outside, right? That's fair. That's fair. Just trying to keep their options open of what to do. I love their little Kirisaki bags. They're so cute. I love them. They have like the big school name in big blocky letters. It's actually really cute. It's great. I love it. And then we have the juxtaposition of Ryohei and Shu, both of them like letting their sisters know they're leaving. I hope they show us Ryohei's sister's face by the end of this, where he tells her that he's leaving. Again, it's just the two of them. And he's like, I'm gonna do great out there. And then as he's getting ready, she comes over and drops off the dangerous chocolate, like gives him the candy bar. And he thanks her. I love that, where he gives her the thumbs up. What I love about this is that it is clearly like a delicate situation, him and his sister, but the show just plays it as like, that's just their life. That's just how it is. It's not like, it's not played for like uber sad or anything. It's just, no, this is how they deal with everything. And Ryohei, bless his heart for being this beautiful cinnamon bun despite it all. Like, he's just such a ray of sunshine, right? And then we cut immediately to Shu and his sister, and it's like, oh, I'm like, Shu, if you ended up with Ryohei and the sister moved into the big mansion, she'd have plenty of rooms to be by herself. But, they're the Prince and the Pauper. That's what I want to call them. The Prince and the Pauper is their ship name. Not that Ryohei's poor. We don't know that, but it's just that concept of Ryohei doesn't care about all the fancy things that Shu has. And so my theory is that the sister is going to get the parents to go watch the final game. My theory is the parents are going to go watch the finale with the sister. And she doesn't want Shu to know because Shu has always been like, oh, I'm not, I don't know if I want people watching me. But she's like, well, can I come watch? My theory is he's going to get his parents to come and see the match. That's my theory, because that would mean the world to Shu. Like, Shu doesn't believe... There's this weird dynamic where Shu doesn't think he's good enough for his family. Like, he feels like an outsider. And I would love if his family could come visit him and watch the game. That would mean so much to him, I think. And regardless of how they did, whether they won or lost, because I think at this point, it's either way. It could go Kirisaki's way or it could go Kazemai's. It could go either way. But I think win or lose, it would mean so much for Shu, for his family to be there and for them to support him. Because they've kind of... like they touched on earlier in the season, like Ryohei said, they kind of support him anyway because they've given him all those resources. So it would make sense for them to come. I really hope they do that. And yeah, the butler and everything. So cute. And then we have Nanao and Kaido. I like that Nanao is like, how's my hair look? It's important that I look good on our day of the tournament. And Kaido's just more worried about eating right? Like just downs that whole thing of milk. It's great. And then Masa's like, give it all you got. No holding back. Let's do this. So yeah, then we go to past the OP. I'm so glad we're at Nationals. And we're here. I love immediately, like, everybody getting off the buses being like, about to have an anxiety attack over here. I'm actually getting ready to. The big trip that I have planned in April is going to our national tournament with the team I coach. So we're actually gearing up to go to our own national tournament, only it's like a week-long competition. It's insane. And so we're going to be gone for quite some time. And so I'm really excited about it. But yeah, it's one of these things where it's exactly like this. You show up, there's all these different schools there from across the country, and it's nationals. So there's just people everywhere doing the same event, and there's this energy and excitement. And if you're a coach, you're just like so excited for your students and you're ready for them to experience it all, especially if you've done it when you were a student. And it's the most wonderful feeling. And this whole episode reminded me about that. It goes by too fast. It ends so quickly once it started. And it's just like, it's amazing. But I just got that vibe from watching this episode, and it was so wonderful. And even like here where they're talking about like registration, and then yeah, they see Kirisaki come down, and everybody's like, oh, there they are. And Sasae's like, oh, look, it's Kazemai. Look at them. And I love that the one twin is like, we're here and I'm back on the team. Like, it's so cute. I love they show up. And then Shu-kun. We got Manji back on the team now. I love that. Like, he's so excited his brother's back and he can tell him about it. I also love Nanao's bag has the big frog keychain clip off of it. That's really cute. I like it. There's a team in the back that has like a minty color. I'm like, is that Seijo? Seijo got a cute team. And then I love just Kiwani. This episode has lots of little tiny moments that you do notice, like a character would notice in real life, right? So as the teams are talking, Minato's like rubbing his hands, and it's just the tiniest shot, but you see that Seiya notices it. And of course, you know, old habits die hard. Of course, Seiya notices everything, right? We have Masa signing them up. And then we go, of course, to the hotel they're staying at, and it's Kirisaki staying with Kazemai and Tsujimine, right? It's great. And they're like, this is where we're staying. Well, we're staying here too. It's like, and then of course, all the Kirisaki girls are so enamored that they're staying at the same place as Seiyo. Like, they've all gathered around her and they're like, oh my gosh! You know, Seiyo may have turned down Otaguro for other reasons. Rather than just wanting to focus on Kyudo. Maybe Seiyo's like, dude, I wish I swung that way, but who knows? I just love that Yuna and the other girl are like right behind her, like we'll protect you, Seiyo. And Seiyo's so tall, she's like, I got this. They're like, can we drop by your room tonight? I love it. I love that the Kirisaki girls are like, can we sneak to your room and hang out? And Masa's like, these girls. I love it. Okay, so then we have Shu-kun and the others are staying at another place. Their team's too big for one place. What do you say there? I want to go back to whatever they were saying about Nanao. They said something about Kirisaki. There. Okay. And Tommy Sensei is talking with the coach from Kirisaki. Okay, it says Shu-kun and the others are staying somewhere else apparently. Okay, so the hotel was not big enough for their team. Okay, so they had to go to a different place. You know your team is big when the hotel can't make accommodations. But Tsujimine managed to stay there, so maybe it's a good thing that not all three schools were there, right? I like that Kaido is like already pouring them some tea. And then we see that next door their neighbors are Tsujimine. Of all things, right? I love Minato opening up the window and seeing Nikaido there, and Nikaido's like, ugh. And he's about to walk out the window, and Fujifu was like, how's the view? I freaking love Fua. I'm not ready for him to be gone. I want him to be a cameo person the rest of this season. And it's like, oh. And I love it. I love Fua's face when he has his arm around Nikaido. He's like, hey, look at you. I am Fua. I am legit Fua in this series. I've already decided. Me and Fua, we share brain cells. I'm like totally would be Fua in this series. Absolutely. I want a season 3 because I want more Fua and Nikaido content. I've not had enough. I am not satisfied, Kiwani. I need more. You've created this beautiful character. And I like that Seiya and Ryohei were like, oh my god, it's them. And I was like, oh, hi, friends. It's like, it's great. But then we have at the tournament the next day. So we have all these, and the girls are watching the different ranges on TV of how they're doing. I like that Ryohei's like getting himself amped up. Everybody's getting ready. Seiya's noticing Minato messing with his thumb. He's worried about it. He tries to ask about it and doesn't work. And then Kaido, I like that in very much Kaido's fashion, Kaido's like, I can't see how everybody else is doing. I will psych myself out. I just need to focus on myself. And I love that Masa and Tommy are like, bless you kids. Like they're getting so worked up. It's like, you've got nothing to worry about. You know what you need to do. All that's left is just to do it. I love the idea of the waiting area, and then they have the different archery ranges. It's really cool that they do. And then it shows like each team working. And then yeah, every match is a matter of chance, but they're all doing really good. I love the Kirisaki girls are behind our Kazemai girls. It's great. And so then yeah, Tsujimine was impressive earlier. And so they talk about Nikaido and them giving empty threats, but Seo kind of hits it on the head. She's like, yeah, them threatening us isn't fun, but you can't say they're empty when they're actually pretty good. So they can walk the walk as well as talk the talk. So it's hard to get too mad at them, right? And of course, I just want to make note, Nikaido has to have like the seat in between me and my bro, so it's not anything serious. You know, there's this 5-foot space between me and my bro, so we're not together. It's fine, even though Fu was like, dude, come on. I love that he like puts his foot out and he's like, let's be real. He's like, and then this line here is like, you like watching movies that you know the ending of. And Fu was like, well, it depends on how they play out. It depends on what the ending is. I love that, just banter. And then Nikaido's like, well, it tells you on the box. So no unexpected twists in sight. That's so. I love Fua is such like he just wants to dig and understand Nikaido more, and Nikaido is just like, I don't have time for this. Like he does not want to project any of his own insecurities or nervousness, right? But Fua, they all do really good. And so, yeah, and so this one girl is pretty presumptuous on Kirisaki. She assumed they were already going to be in the finals. She's like, hey, we'll see you in the finals. You guys are going to beat Tsujimine. Like, she was rooting for him the whole time. It was great. I like that little camaraderie between them. It's really cute. And so we have 4 blocks of the boys team tournament, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, there's basically 32 different sections. So even if our guys win, even if they beat Kirisaki, they would still have to go up against the winner of the yellow block. And if they won that, they'd have to go. So basically, if they win against Kirisaki, what's up next is the quarterfinals. And then if they do that, they'll go to the semifinals. And then the finals is going to be them and the other team from the other sides. So I don't know if they'll get to that point. I don't know if they'll show us that this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they show us. I mean, it could either go one of 2 ways. It could actually go one of 3 ways. Ooh. Okay, so this could actually go one of 3 ways. We could actually have either they don't beat Kirisaki next episode, and we see like a montage of Kirisaki going up against the other teams and either win or losing, and then episode 13 is the Fire Festival. That's option 1. Option 2 is that they beat Kirisaki, and then we do a montage of them going up against the other teams, and maybe they make it to the semifinals, but they don't make it to the finals. That would leave a nice room for season 3. And then for season 3, and then we have episode 13 is the Fire episode. Or whoever wins the next episode is just the quarterfinals and them all versus each other. And then episode 13 is them at the semifinals and the finals, or just the semifinals of the tournament against these other teams. And we have an OVA later on that will cover the Fire Festival. Like, the OVA will cover it. I don't think that'll be the case, though, because they started out the season showing us a preview of that festival. So that makes me think it's either going to be options 1 or 2. Kirisaki or Kazemai are going to win, and then we might see a montage of the semifinal or the final, and then episode 13 will be the Fire Festival. I would kind of like it whichever team wins between Kirisaki and Kazemai. I would like them to only make it to the semifinals, because that would open up season 3 for them to possibly make it into the finals. Just saying. So, and plus they said that the blocks are all random. And so they said this one just happened to have Kirisaki, Tsujimine, and Kazemai in it. Next year, we could have, if we did a season 3, the teams could be split up and it could show them rising up to get to like the semifinals and then the finals. Just saying, that could very well be the case. I don't know if that's exactly what will end up happening, but I don't know. And they call it, like, Kaido's looking at all the tournaments, and so we see, I'll go back there just a second. We see Kaido walking by looking at all of them, and we saw that Kirisaki versus Inji, Aosan versus Sunahara, Tsujimine versus Nishijo, Joko versus Kazemai, so whoever won. So Tsujimine and Kazemai were always going to face each other and then get up to Kirisaki. Gotcha. And they call it the block of death. Yeah. It's the soccer term talking about harsh. So like all 3 really good teams are in there. Mm-hmm. And so then Fuwa knows the soccer term is the group of death. And Seiya knows what it is too, right? And then, man, Nikaido in this episode, he is a grumpy cat. He is very much, it's like he's still being grumpy about everything and about winning. And what it is it's his nerves. Like, he's nervous. He's nervous about what's happening, about what's going on, about how they're going to do. Like, but he doesn't, rather than communicate those nerves and seeming weak in front of his teammates, he just kind of projects it in him being a grumpy cat. And Fuwa understands what's going on, but being respectful, Fuwa doesn't say anything. So it's like, it's just, bless his heart, Nikaido. And so then, like, the other team, Kirisaki, Modokuro, and Sase, they try to cheer him on because they knew him from when he was there in middle school. They're like, hey, we hope you guys do good. And Fuwa being like, take the compliment, man. Like, just trying to help him out. It's just, I felt for Fuwa in this, where he's like, because Motokuro's saying, they weren't there until a few years ago, so something must have changed. And Fuwa, since Nikaido is not speaking up, Fuwa's like, well, he actually coached us and everything. And I love when they ask about their coach, they're like, oh no, he just fishes. Like, he's not really here. And they all give Nikaido a lot of positive reinforcement and a lot of compliments. And Nikaido, that tsundere, just doesn't know what to do with it. He's like, and Fuwa's like, come on, man. Like, Fuwa tries to, like, encourage him to, like, take the compliment and be nice about it. And he just doesn't do it. He's like, come on, man, take the compliment. And he's like, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have to. And Fuwa's like, he's like, I tried, guys. I just love Higuchi's little innocent face. But yeah, Nikaido's just, I love instantly the background, the one twin instantly is angry about it. He's like, hey, don't be rude to our senpai. Like, it just, of course, Nikaido instantly comes off as bad for Shinichi and Manji. Of course. And Fuwa's like, so they show the court getting taken care of. And then we have the team dinner together. And so they have sukiyaki, spinach, and natto. Natto is disgusting. Ever since I watched Banana Fish and AG ate it, I was like, I know it's got protein and it's supposed to be good on rice, but it looks like snot. But then again, I do like oatmeal, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad. But it just, the way they animate it, they usually make anime food look amazing. Natto never looks amazing. And so if it doesn't look good on anime, it probably does not look good in real life. No. But here's the thing. They decide to wait on him. They decide to wait for him. And Fuwa, I like they're all getting the food ready. And Fuwa's the one that's like, he's not here. Like, Fuwa just looks kind of down in the dumps because Nikaido's not there yet. He's in the restroom still. And that's when he runs into Seiya. Now, Nikaido initiates the conversation with Seiya. He could have just let Seiya go, but he has this chip on his shoulder that he thinks he's gonna push on Seiya's buttons, right? And play mind games. But I'm like, I'm glad Seiya got over it, because I was like, dude, you just dealt with this with Shu in the last season. Don't let this silver-haired Quicksilver guy throw you off. And Seiya kind of throws it back in his face. He's kind of like, what are you talking about? He's like, I believe in Minato, and we work as a team, and I know Minato's good, but that doesn't affect me at all. He's like, you're kind of projecting, bro. And I like the representation with Nikaido of the mirrors in the bathroom. Like, Seiya's just outside the bathroom, so he's not reflected in the mirror, but Nikaido is reflected. It's showing that, like, Nikaido always presents himself as this one thing, but this one thing is not who he actually is. There's something under the surface with Nikaido throughout this entire series. And so it's like the mirror is showing that there is a reflection of Nikaido. And at one point, Seiya talks to the reflection. Like, it shows Seiya giving a response, and it's not to Nikaido physically standing there, it's to the reflection. So it's a really cool way of showing the layers within Nikaido's character, and that we don't get to see everything about him in this, but we know that there's more to it. So, and of course, Fua, he just stands outside the door being like, I'll just wait till it's a convenient time to enter. But I'm glad Seiya stuck up. I'm glad he stuck up for Minato, because at the moment that Nikaido started pushing buttons, I was like, dude, the one person you don't want to tick off in this series is Seiya. Seiya will clap back hard. And he is smart. You have got to be on your feet, or Seiya will just steamroll you. Like, Kaido will get mad, Nanao will become indifferent, Ryohei will just go, ah, and Minato will be like, what? But Seiya's not the person you tick off on Kazemai's team. No. Of all the people, you don't tick off Seiya. He's got sass and he knows how to use it. Yeah, and he's like, and Nikaido just, And of course, Fuwa's like, where is he? And then he realizes that he's been over there talking to Seiya in the bathroom. Bathrooms in sports anime, y'all, they're not safe. If you're in a sports anime, you stay away from that bathroom, because there will be a confrontation there, and it's going to be real. So don't get yourselves involved. And so then Nikaido tries to do this war metaphor where he's like, don't get real. He's like, this isn't just a game. He's like, Kyudo, the archery targets are the size of a human stomach for a reason. Like, originally this was all trained to be used in combat and battle. Like, it's this big grand revelation. And Seiya's like, yeah, I know. But soccer also was an alternative to war. We get that most sports are alternatives to actual war. It's like playing war, basically. He's like, and I know what you're meaning, Nikaido, that we're not here for fun and games. It's a competition. It's, a blood sport. We're out for blood to be the best. He's like, there's no alternative except winning. Like, Nikaido's taking it so literally, being like, if we don't win, we lose. And if we lose, we die. Which, again, is him also projecting his insecurities about his uncle, and about, like, his uncle is in this life or death battle for his own well-being. So there's a lot going on under the surface of Nikaido and what he's thinking in this moment. And the war analogy with the sport is kind of like him putting a very absolute black and white term on Kyudo, just like he's putting on his uncle in his battle for his health. And Seiya's like, you can't equate the things. He's like, yeah, granted, we realize what this is, but he's like, that's not how this is. And he tries to give the alternate example with, soccer. He's like, are you a fan of it? And Nikaido's like, huh? And he's like, yeah, soccer's roots are training for battle, and it's used as an alternative to war. He's like, we know exactly what we're going, but everyone just enjoys it for the sport these days. So he says, all of Kazemai is fine with that attitude. Like, he's like, we didn't come here for bloodshed. We came here because we enjoy the activity. Just because it started out as something doesn't mean it has to stay that way. And so it's kind of like a nice way of saying, just because you came into this activity for revenge and trying to get back at all the people that you think wronged you and your uncle, he's like, it doesn't have to stay that way. You can develop new feelings for it and move forward and have a different mindset. And I think that's the one area that Nikaido's stuck in, is moving forward with it with a new perspective. So I'm hoping I'm hoping in episodes 12 or 13 that he gets the chance to see Saionji and get this all resolved. That'd be great. That would be really, really nice if that could happen. Right? And I like how Ryohei looks at him. And so Ryohei is like, but he's so like non-confrontational. He's like, I don't even want to get involved. And Nikaido is just like, we just have to win. And I love the shot of like the hallway. It's very just like the hallway with the same border and everything. It's almost like it's so creepy but it's visually so interesting, right? Just this long hallway, and it looks like prison bars. Nikaido is trapped in this prison of having to win and not realizing there are other options. Like, oh my gosh. Like, he's just imprisoned by this concept he has. And Fu was like, you're the only one taking this as seriously as you are. Everybody else is totally fine with a different mindset. It's like, And he's like, it's all for nothing if we don't win now. And Fu was like, is it? And he kind of just smiles at him. I like that Fua is still accepting of Nikaido being like, whatever, okay, man, sure. And then that's like, I like Ryohei is like, did you fight with Nikaido? And then we cut back to him and they all wanted to eat as a team. That's really sweet. That they all, I like that Oda girl's like, I'm taking your tofu. And Fu was like, you can have my onions. And he's like, a gift from yours truly. And he's like, I didn't ask for that. And then I like that Aragaki is like, let us eat. Like, he brings them all together. Like, we're going to thank our food. We're going to eat together. It's really cute. I love Higuchi's little pastel, his little cardigan, his pastel shirt. He's, again, like the dark version of Nanao. It's kind of great. I love it. And then they all eat, and they waited until everybody else had left. It's so cute. And so, yeah, then Shu steps outside to talk to his sister that they'll be there for the finals, which is next episode. And he's like, I'll do my best. And she starts to tell him something, but then she takes it back. I'm like, his parents are going to come, aren't they? I feel like they are. Because I love Shu's like, I love Shu's little like side glance. It's really cute where he's just like, I wonder what that was about. I bet his family is going to come. So, yeah. So old Ao-san didn't fare against Kirisaki. So we have Kazemai beat Joko 13-10. They really didn't have they still missed 7 shots. Nishijo and Tsujimine was 8-13, so their track record wasn't good. Tsunohara barely lost to Ao-san 9-10, and then Inji to Kirisaki was 11-17. So yeah, they're not stellar records. And so then Shigeyuki is like, how are you feeling? And he's like, not bad. Next round's about to start. I love the uncles watching the game. So good. And so then, yeah, Ryohei, I like that Ryohei now addresses Ryohei's kind of like hesitance. And now it's like, if you're going to talk about something, talk about it now. If it's important, say it. If not, you shouldn't have brought it up. And Ryohei's like, oh, it wasn't anything. And then that's when Minato kind of distracts them with, also Kiwani has like the detail of animation. They animate the ring of skin around Minato's thumb where the bandage was, showing that it like whenever you wear a bandage for over a day and it like suctions into your thumb and it makes it a different color there. Like that's such the tiniest little detail. But Kiwani was like, can't forget that. I'm like, what are y'all, you rock star animators? What is this? And yeah, he manages like, oh, I don't like that. And they even show like the skin where it's sucked in on the thumb. But yeah, it's sitting there bleeding. There was times in the episode where he had the bow drawn back and it was like a and I get that it's like the stretching of the string, but I thought it was blood dropping. I thought it was going to be droplets of blood hitting the floor from his thumb, and I thought it was going to be this big thing and everybody was going to be like, whoa, stop the match. But it wasn't. We were fine. Now that may happen next episode. And he says that he split his fingernail a while back. And Minato never says that it was from the elevator, from the training camp. I'm glad Masa looks at it and he brings up the good point of, and of course Kaido's like, can you use your bow? Are we screwed? You know? And Masa brings up the point. He's like, well, we can either bandage it more, but that will affect the way your bow works. Or if you can tolerate the pain, we can go through it. And that's when Nikaido's words kind of get to Seiya, because Nikaido talks about how Minato is going to be able to work and get farther ahead than Seiya will. And Seiya kind of sees in that moment that Minato, he's willing to work and do whatever to win. And he starts to think that. He's like, oh, I couldn't do what Minato did. And I was like, get out of your mind, Seiya. Don't be doing that. Don't be thinking that way. I'm glad that that was not a thing, that it didn't become a thing that hindered them until the end. Because I was really worried they were going to lose to Tsujimine in this episode. And I was going to be like, I was picturing them going all the way, but I really was getting worried. I was like, they're going to lose to Tsujimine. And then it's going to be like, what do we do then? But no, they beat them by one. By one. Every shot counted. I want to see that track record when we're done. And Seiya, he has that flashback of Minato like in the hospital bed, and those words of Nikaido saying he's going to leave you behind. And I'm like, no, he's not. Don't let that get in your head, Seiya. Quit that. Like, Minato's not even worried. And so then, I was so worried about Seiya in that moment, I didn't notice that they both walked up together to compete in the same round. And yeah, lots of people watching. And then it should have, for a second, I thought they were on different courts, but that doesn't make sense. And so then, the shots are so good. I do love Tsujimine doing the shots like one after another. That part was so cool. I loved that. That looks so great. And then they all start to get in their own heads though. And I love that everybody notices that Seiya's missing. Even Kirisaki, they're like, Seiya's missing? Even Nikaido, Seiya's missing? Like, their anchor is missing. But Minato doesn't let that stop him. He's like, I'll still be strong and set the wave for everybody else. And because it's Kiwani, we've got to have some water. So they like show the water coming in, like it's starting to like gonna overtake them and they're gonna drown. And then Minato bursts through, right? And the ripple effect with the targets. It's beautiful. I really love it. But yeah, everybody was off to a bad start. And then like just poor Seiya getting affected. And Shu just being like, just sitting there waiting to see what's going to happen. And yeah, Nikaido says they sure talked big and everything. But then Minato, he sets the pace. And I love that shot of it looks like Kid Minato has his hands on Seiya's back. Like, I got you. Like, you're going to be fine. You're better than this. Don't worry. I got your back. And it's just like that as they're getting ready for the next shot, it's like one person connects with the other, right? Now, they did not use Ikiai, or at least what I thought was Ikiai in this round. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen next round against Kirisaki, which will be pretty cool if it does. I'm waiting for it, but it did not happen this round. This round was our angsty, nervous round. I was like, please get past this. And so next round, I hope is like the culmination of everything coming together and they managed to pull it off. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Because I was getting a little nervous in this round. And Shu, I like everybody's just watching Minato. And Shu's just not looking. He's like, he's waiting for the perfect moment. Like he already knows. Telepathic, y'all. It's just so pretty. I love that moment. And the ripples, it reaches Seiya, it reaches Kaido, it reaches Nanao. It's beautiful. It looks so good. And they decide to go with his rhythm. And they get back on their game. And Moss is like, sometimes the rhythm of one person can save the other four. But Tsujimine's not been out here for nothing. And I love that. Okay, we talk about people looking like Higuchi and Aragaki and Odaguro, they're getting ready. But Fuwa, as he's looking, he is watching Nikaido. So let's talk about Fuwa real quick. Let's talk about Fuwa. So he shows him the big weed-covered practice range at first. And we have our dear boy Fuwa there, where his hair is not pink at the top, it's purple, right? It's got purple in it. And then he has like the pink on his sweater vest there, and the blue and purple. He's a bisexual flag. Fuwa is a bisexual flag. His color scheme in the flashback is a bisexual flag. I'm just saying. It is. It's a bisexual flag. That's his color scheme. And it's not even the entire color scheme of the school. Like it shows Nikaido does that really cool hoodie with the jacket from the university over it that's blue. Yeah, there's no pink and purples in their school uniform. No. Because then when you go back, I do love Aragaki and Higuchi shooting at first, and Nikaido's like, oh my god, they're so terrible. And so he like shows them, and I love that Higuchi's like, oh, so that's how you do it. Like his pose is so cute. It's really cute. And then it shows them, he's like, teaches them how, and then we see them all ready for school. And so like you have their suit jackets are blue, their ties are blue. Now, Higuchi does have like a mauve colored sweater vest that kind of fits the color scheme he wears, but they're not the pink and red, purple, blue scheme that is Fuwa's. I'm just saying Fuwa's color scheme is a bisexual flag. It does not say anything about his character, except that I should ship him with Nikaido. I'm just saying. Just saying. That's the deal. And then, yeah, they all practice with different things, and then they all hit together. I love it. I love Higuchi's arrows are pink. They're cute. And yeah, and they're like, they thank him for everything that he's done. It's great. And then they have their first defeat. And they're like, we're sorry, Nikaido, some second years we are. And he's like, it's fine. And then that's when Otogoro's like, do you want to head back and practice? He's like, it's still morning, we got plenty of time. And then it shows them at their school getting an award, right? And I like that Fuwa's like, hey, we got an award, come on. Like, encouraging Nikaido to clap. Like, he's so dazed. I also love the color scheme of, like, the pastels, like the rain coming through the umbrella when they look up. I love the shot of all of them together, like, standing under that umbrella. That shot's so beautiful. It's so, like, and you have, like, Fuwa sitting there with his head back and everything, and you got all of them staring the other way. Again, they're all staring one way, Fuwa's staring the other way. I'm just saying. But, yeah. And then showing them all get ready, and they line up the arrows the first time and get the shots to all go in sequence, and it's really cool. And they're like, oh my gosh, we did it! They're like, dude, what was that? And then it shows like the pastel colors, the paint bursting from his hands, and the arrow hits perfect. Like it's poetry in motion, like it's a perfect piece of artwork. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. Kiyoani. I love just the representation of Nikaido in the paint. And it's just like this impressionist paint that's all these different colors that shouldn't go together, that shouldn't match up, but they do so well. And it's like, I love it. I love it. It's great. It's absolutely gorgeous. And Nikaido being like, this is what he likes to do. He loves Kyudo. And then seeing like all his team with him. And that was from the night in the elevator. Yeah, so he sees the moment he came out of the elevator, he sees that was from that night where he sees Fuwa and the others looking concerned at him. Because there's Kaido and Ryohei in the background. And of course, Fuwa's like right there front and center. And I think Nikaido realizes in that moment that he doesn't want to leave his team. He wants to keep playing. He wants to keep doing it, right? I feel like that's the case. He's realized that he wants to keep at it. And everybody's staring at Minato like this was the arrow that determined the whole match because it was 14-13. And Nikaido watching him like getting that competitive spirit maybe built up. Like he wants to challenge Minato again. Maybe. And then that's it. So, and there's Uncle clapping for them. And Nikaido looking, yeah, at that point it should have been obvious. And I love that transition from Nikaido to Minato. It's great. And then, yeah, so, okay. So the team, Nikaido and Minato didn't miss a thing. Man. And then Fuwa missed one. Fuwa missed one shot. Kaido missed one shot. Ryohei missed two. Otoguro missed two. And then Seiya missed two. Higuchi missed two. And then Nanao missed one. And Aragaki missed two. So, yeah. It was really, like, just so damn close. Oh. That was just, oof. And it was right there at the end. Awesome. Okay. And so, yeah, we still see them going back to the bus. And Fuwa gets in there, and they said they were very close. And, of course, Fuwa just situates himself, in between, right by Nikaido. And they say it was fun. And of course, Nikaido's like, but we lost. We lost, though. And they're like, well, sure, we did. He's like, but we lost. And I'm really, honestly, I expected Nikaido to get more worked up. But I think that he's decided he wants to maybe keep doing it. Like, he's on the fence. I think he's realized that he loves being there at the tournament. He loves being with his team. He loves that experience. And he's found that competitive spark, maybe just, it's flickering, right? So he's not completely taken the idea of competing off the table. And so I think that's why he's not any more mad than he is. He's just frustrated and being grumpy cat. And I like that Oda, and then it's so cool that Higuchi's like, sure would have liked to shoot with Kirisaki again. And Odaguro's like, well, next year we'll give you a real show. And he's like, next year. He's like, go get revenge for us. We won't be around anymore. And then Fuwa's like, leave it to us. And Odaguro's like, yeah. And I love God, Kiwani can animate the hell out of a bottle of water, can't they? That bottle of water, I'm like, that bottle of water is animated better than my life. And the fact that he like does it and use it to push the hoodie off. Fuwa. I freaking love it. I love it. He's like, Eisuke Nikaido isn't going to go out with a loss, right? I am just like, slay me. Slay me, dude, with your beautiful hair. And Nikaido's like, don't use my full name. Quit calling me by my full name. I feel like Fuwa, it's very much a Miyuki Kazuya moment where he's like, Miyuki Kazuya. He's like, well, I could have just called you Eisuke, but you get mad. And then they all are like, I love that they're all just like, and Seiya's like, let me see your hand. And then he sees that it's got the blood on it. I didn't realize it hurt until now. But it's not as bad as before, though. And Seiya's like, you're hopeless. Seiya's just like, you're too much for me, Minato. Too much. And Masa's like, nice shooting, boys. And I love that Kaido's just like lean his head back like he's exhausted. It's great. He's like, I could see you all in your shooting out there. And they're like, see us? You mean we could be close to Ikiai? What? It's great. And then, of course, Shu staring back at the three of Ryohei, Minato, and Seiya for next match. It's like, I love it. Our love square is right there, and it's wonderful. That was such a good episode. Falling into place. So yeah, I don't think Nikaido's done. I'm really hoping that we see Nikaido and Fuwa and the other Tsujimine boys. I hope we see them in the next 2 episodes. I hope this isn't the last we see of them this season. I definitely want Nikaido to, 1, meet Saionji and talk to her and figure all this out so he can reconcile with his uncle about it. And I hope that he admits to Fuwa that he wants to continue on the team. I want him to do that, right? I want Fuwa to be like, knew it. But yeah, and then we'll have the Fire Festival because I'd like to bookend with that unless they move it to an OVA. But yeah, this episode went by so fast. It had so much happening and we're already to the finals, but we suspected that, right? Right. Or at least the quarterfinals, aka the finals of this bracket. So yeah, I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below. This was a great episode, but I can't wait to see what happens next. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back real soon with episode 12 of Tsurune. Bye.